April 19, 1944. Somewhere outside Metz, eastern France. Dawn. The ground is still shaking when the firing stops. Smoke hangs low over the hedgerows, thick enough to sting the eyes. A German infantry lieutenant, Hans Keller, 26 years old, Eastern Front veteran, lowers his rifle for the first time in hours. Around him, men he trained with since 1941 stand frozen, unsure whether to run or surrender. Then the sound comes again. Not artillery. Engines. Deep, smooth, confident. American half-tracks roll out of the fog like machines from another world. Not rushed, not desperate, clean lines, fresh paint, white stars unscarred by mud or rust. An American sergeant steps down, helmet tilted back, cigarette already lit. Krieg ist vorbei für euch, a German-speaking GI says calmly. The war is over for you. Keller looks at his men. They are exhausted, ammunition gone, radios dead, no air cover, no fuel. The decision has already been made by forces far beyond this field. He drops his rifle. For most German soldiers captured in 1944, surrender feels humiliating, but not final. They still believe in something. They believe America is soft. Back home, Nazi newsreels show fat civilians, lazy factory workers, racial chaos, jazz music, strikes. A country obsessed with comfort, not sacrifice. A nation that makes refrigerators and movies, not war. You cannot fight a total war with a society like that, Keller once told his platoon. Many officers agree. America has money, yes, but no discipline, no hunger, no iron will like Germany. That belief travels with them as they are processed, searched, and herded into transport trucks. It stays with them as they cross the Atlantic under guard, seasick and silent. It stays with them behind barbed wire in POW camps across the United States. For weeks, even months, that belief holds. Until one morning in Michigan. July 1944. Outside Detroit. Late afternoon. A convoy of olive-drab buses slows near a massive complex of brick, steel, and glass. Chimneys rise like cathedral towers. Smoke pours out, not black and dirty, but steady, controlled. The sign reads, Ford Motor Company, Rouge Plant. The German prisoners lean forward, confused. This is not a military base. This is a factory. American guards order them off the buses. No barking, no rifle butts, just firm voices and clipped instructions. Inside, the noise hits first. A constant roar, metal stamping, engines turning, conveyor belts clanking. The floor vibrates underfoot. Overhead cranes move like steel giants, lifting entire hulls as if they weigh nothing. A German sergeant whispers, "Was ist das?" What is this? Then they see it. A line of M4 Sherman tanks, unfinished but unmistakable, moving forward on a conveyor system. Not one, not five. Dozens. Every few minutes, another hull rolls into place. Workers swarm it, not soldiers but civilians. Men, women, teenagers, old men. No shouting, no chaos. Each person performs a single task, efficient, rehearsed, fast. An American guide speaks casually, almost proudly. One Sherman every few minutes, he says. We ship 'em by rail before nightfall. The Germans exchange looks. This is impossible. Back in Germany, a single tank plant struggles to produce a handful per day, often delayed by air raids, shortages, or missing parts. Skilled labor is gone. Steel is rationed. Electricity unreliable. Here, nothing stops. They move deeper into the complex. Engines being assembled in parallel lines. Gearboxes tested and approved in seconds. Trucks, thousands of them, rolling out in perfect formation, destined for ports Keller has never seen. And then through a wide glass wall, they glimpse something else. Aircraft, not fighters. Bombers. B-24 Liberators, enormous four-engine beasts being assembled indoors like consumer goods. Wings attached, fuselages riveted, engines mounted, all under one roof. A German Luftwaffe mechanic, captured in Italy, stares in disbelief. "You build bombers like automobiles," he mutters. The American guide smiles. "That's exactly what we're doing." The prisoners stop mocking. They stop whispering. They just watch. An officer, Oberstleutnant Friedrich Weber, former logistics planner, starts counting unconsciously. Steps between stations, seconds per operation, output per hour. His face drains of color. This is not industry. This is industrial warfare. Here, air raids don't stop production. They are an ocean away. Here, raw materials arrive on time. Here, standardized parts mean any worker can replace another instantly. And most terrifying of all, this is only one city. The guide gestures broadly. Detroit builds tanks, he says. Seattle builds bombers. California builds ships. Pennsylvania builds steel. Texas builds fuel. Weber realizes something in that moment. Germany is fighting a nation that does not strain under war. It accelerates. As the sun sets outside the factory windows, the Germans are led back to the buses. No one speaks. Not out of defiance. Out of shock. Hans Keller looks back one last time at the assembly line, at another Sherman rolling forward, identical to the last, and the last, and the last. He finally understands what no battlefield briefing ever showed him. Germany is not losing because of mistakes. Germany is losing because it cannot keep up. And if this is what America shows prisoners, what are they not showing? The bus doors close. The engines start. And for the first time since his capture, Keller feels something colder than fear. Certainty. The buses pull away from the Rouge plant in near silence. Not the tense silence of defeated men, but something heavier, something settling in. Hans Keller presses his forehead against the glass as the factory disappears behind rows of workers' houses. Even now, even after leaving, the noise of the assembly line seems to echo in his head. The rhythm, the certainty, the speed. Back in the POW camp that night, the guards notice the change. No jokes. No complaints. No arguments. Men who once debated tactics and cursed Hitler's generals now sit on bunks staring at their boots. Eventually, someone speaks. "How many tanks did you count?" a corporal asks quietly. No one answers at first. Then Weber clears his throat. "Too many." The following week, the tour continues. The Americans do not rush them, they do not threaten, they simply show. Another convoy, another city. Willow Run. The prisoners step inside what looks like an aircraft hangar without walls, nearly a mile long. Overhead lights stretch so far into the distance they blur into a glowing tunnel. The guide doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. B-24 Liberator plant, he says. Peak output, one bomber every 63 minutes. A ripple of disbelief passes through the group. One bomber per hour. A Luftwaffe major laughs once, a sharp, reflexive sound. That is propaganda, he says. Impossible. The guide stops walking. Turns calmly. You'll see. They walk. And walk. And walk. Fuselages glide past on wheeled platforms. Wings are attached with practiced precision. Engines arrive pre-assembled, lifted into place by cranes moving on rails. Each station performs one task, no improvisation, no delay. Women in coveralls rivet aluminum panels without looking up. Teenagers check wiring harnesses from clipboards. Elderly men inspect gauges, stamp approvals, wave the aircraft forward. No master craftsmen. No irreplaceable specialists. Just process, system, flow. Weber stops counting because the numbers stop mattering. In Germany, every bomber lost over Hamburg or Schweinfurt feels catastrophic. Months of labor gone in minutes, skilled workers buried under rubble, replacement parts delayed by weeks. Here, loss is expected. Absorbed. Replaced. You can almost feel it, Keller thinks, the difference. Germany fights with desperation. America fights with momentum. Back at the camp, letters begin arriving from other POW compounds. Men who toured shipyards on the East Coast. Men who saw Liberty ships launched every few days. Men who watched oil refineries burning day and night, not from bombing, but from non-stop production. One message circulates quietly, rewritten by hand so guards won't notice. They build faster than we can destroy. Another reads, they have turned war into routine. That phrase sticks. Routine. The most dangerous word imaginable. One afternoon, an American captain gathers a group of German officers in a mess hall. On the wall behind him hangs a massive map, pins scattered across Europe and the Pacific. He points casually. These ships feed Britain. These trucks go to Patton. These bombers hit your factories, and we're still building more. No threats. No shouting. Just facts. You know what surprises us, the captain continues. You thought we wouldn't commit fully, that we'd get tired. He smiles faintly. We're just getting started. That night Keller cannot sleep. He thinks of Stalingrad, of Kursk, of endless trains delayed by sabotage and lack of fuel, of tanks cannibalized to keep others running. He thinks of the Rouge plant, how nothing stopped. Not air raids. Not shortages. Not exhaustion. Because America does not mobilize its army. It mobilizes everything. Factories, schools, women, teenagers, retirees, railroads, rivers, oceans. An entire continent turned into a weapon. The next day, Keller overhears a heated argument. Two senior NCOs are whispering fiercely. We were told America lacked discipline, one says. They have more discipline than us, the other snaps. They just hide it behind comfort. That realization spreads like a sickness. The myth collapses. America is not soft. It is efficient. And efficiency beats bravery every time. Weeks later, Weber is granted access to a small camp library. He finds American trade journals, old issues, nothing classified. Production figures. Charts. Trends. He reads them twice. Then a third time. The curve is rising. Steeply. This isn't a peak, he whispers to himself. It's a slope. Germany is fighting the beginning of American power, not its height. One evening, as the sun sets over the camp fence, Keller watches guards change shifts. Fresh uniforms, clean boots, relaxed posture. No one looks hungry. No one looks exhausted. Across the Atlantic, German boys his age are digging trenches with bare hands. The difference hits him harder than any bomb. Wars are not decided only by courage. They are decided by capacity. And America's capacity feels endless. A rumor spreads among the prisoners. Another tour is coming. Not a factory. Something bigger. The guards won't say where. Only that it's worth seeing. Keller lies awake that night, staring at the ceiling, wondering how much more disbelief a man can absorb before something inside him finally breaks. Because if this is still only the surface, what lies underneath? The buses don't head toward a city this time. They head toward water. August 1944. Somewhere along the Great Lakes. Morning mist. The air smells different here, oil, iron, and something vast. The prisoners hear it before they see it, deep metallic groans carried across the fog, rhythmic, patient. Shipyards. As the mist thins, shapes emerge. Skeletons of ships rising from dry docks, hulls stretching longer than football fields, cranes moving slowly overhead like calm predators. An American dock supervisor waits for them, hard hat tucked under one arm. Liberty and Victory ships, he says. Cargo carriers, troop transports, tankers. He gestures to a hull freshly painted, gleaming in the sunlight. That one launches tomorrow. A German naval officer squints. But the keel was laid only weeks ago, he says. The supervisor nods. 42 days from steel plate to sea, he replies. Sometimes less. No one laughs this time. They walk the length of the dock. Welders shower sparks in controlled arcs. Prefabricated sections, entire ship modules, are lowered into place like children's blocks. There is no frantic movement, no shouted orders. Just repetition. One section after another. A Kriegsmarine engineer mutters, almost reverently, "We take longer repairing damage than they take building new ships." And there it is. The sentence that changes everything. Hans Keller watches as a hull slides into the water during a test float. The splash is enormous. Workers cheer. Someone blows a whistle. It feels celebratory. Not desperate. Not strained. Celebration implies confidence. And confidence implies surplus. The Americans are not racing the clock. They own it. Back at camp, the realization settles like a slow poison. Not panic. Not despair. Understanding. Germany is not being overwhelmed by tactics. It is being overwhelmed by math. For every U-boat sunk, 2 more escort carriers appear. For every tank destroyed, 3 more arrive. For every factory bombed, 10 others remain untouched. The war is no longer a contest of armies. It is a contest of systems. And one system is infinitely larger. In late August, a Red Cross representative interviews selected POWs. "Do you believe Germany can still win?" she asks politely. Earlier in the year, answers came fast. Yes, of course. With new weapons. With resolve. Now. Long pauses. Weber answers carefully. No, he says, not against this. He doesn't say America. He says this. Letters from home confirm the dread. Cities burning, railways shattered, fuel gone, children evacuated, factories dispersed into forests and caves. Contrast that with what Keller has seen. Open skis, unbombed cities, factories growing larger, not smaller. One German private breaks down during evening roll call. They have not even begun to suffer, he sobs, and they are already winning. No one argues. One night, Keller dreams of the assembly line. But this time, it stretches across the ocean. Tanks roll off one end in Detroit. Bombers lift off in England. Ships unload in Normandy. And the line never stops moving. He wakes up drenched in sweat. Because for the first time, he understands something terrifying. The war will not end when Germany is defeated. It will end when America decides it has ended. The next morning, guards post a new notice. Another tour. This one optional. Few decline. They have crossed a threshold. Curiosity has replaced denial. Keller steps onto the bus again, knowing whatever comes next will not offer comfort. Only clarity. And clarity, he is learning, can be more devastating than bombs. The final tour is shorter. Almost anticlimactic. No roaring machinery, no mile-long factories, no sparks or cranes. Just a room. September 1944. an administrative building in Chicago. Afternoon. The German prisoners sit in folding chairs facing a wall covered with charts, not propaganda posters, not slogans. Graphs, production curves, shipping tonnage, aircraft output by month. An American civilian, mid-40s, wire-rimmed glasses, no uniform, steps forward. He introduces himself simply. Robert Nathan, War Production Board. He speaks like a man explaining a ledger, not a war. This, he says, tapping a chart, is where we were in 1941. The line is modest. He moves his finger upward. And this is now. The line becomes a wall. Tank production, aircraft production, shipbuilding, oil, steel. Every curve rising. Together, Keller feels his chest tighten. This isn't demonstration. It's confirmation. Nathan doesn't gloat. He doesn't threaten. He offers context. We don't need miracles, he says calmly. We need predictability, repeatable processes, time. Time, the thing Germany no longer has. Your country built excellent machines, Nathan continues, but excellence alone doesn't scale. Somewhere behind Keller, a man exhales sharply. That sentence lands harder than any insult. Afterward, the prisoners are dismissed without ceremony. No guards rush them. No speeches follow. Because nothing more needs to be said. They have seen the ending. Weeks later, the tour stops. The war moves faster now. Paris liberated, Allied armies advancing, bombers crossing Germany in daylight unchallenged. In the POW camp, conversations change. No more if. Only when. When the Ruhr falls. When Berlin is surrounded. When it ends. Keller begins teaching English to other prisoners, not out of hope. Out of preparation. May 7, 1945. The camp loudspeaker crackles. Germany has surrendered. There is no cheering. No crying. Just silence. A long one. Keller steps outside. The American flag hangs motionless in the morning air. Guards stand relaxed, almost gentle. The war that consumed Europe has ended. Not with a final battle, but with inevitability. Years later, historians will interview former POWs. They will ask about combat, about surrender, about defeat. Many will answer differently. The war ended for me, Weber will say, in a factory in Michigan. Others will nod, because that was the moment they understood. Not that Germany was losing, but that America had already won. The factories never stopped. They simply shifted. From tanks to cars. From bombers to airliners. From war to prosperity. The assembly lines that once stunned prisoners would build the modern world. And the men who saw them up close would carry that memory forever. The day steel moved faster than courage. The day disbelief turned into certainty.